Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we try to figure out if these companies are actually cooking the books or if they're just cooking popcorn. Get ready because today we're diving into IonQ's latest filing and it looks like they've been busy making some big moves. We've got a pretty interesting day here as IonQ announced they've completed a major acquisition. They snapped up Capella Space, which is a company that deals with satellite imagery or Earth observation. Think of it as them looking down at us directly in the satellite business, so this acquisition suggests they see some serious synergy, some ways these two very different worlds can help each other grow. So what exactly happened on July 11th? IonQ went ahead and bought all the shares of Capella Space. This deal was actually announced back in May and now it's officially done. They did this by merging a subsidiary of IonQ, a company they created just for this deal with Capella. Capella is the one that survived, meaning it's now part of the IonQ family. Now, how did they pay for this? Well, they didn't exactly hand over cash. Instead, they gave Capella shareholders about 7.4 million shares of IonQ's own stock. This is what they call stock consideration. It's like trading one type of ownership for another. Now, this part about unregistered sales of equity securities might sound a bit technical, but what it really means is that when they issued these shares to Capella's shareholders, they did it in a way that didn't require a whole lot of public paperwork up front. They're relying on some exemptions under securities law. Think of it like a private sale rather than a big public auction. They are saying these shares were sold based on rules that allow for private deals, not needing all the usual public filings you see when a company sells lots of shares widely. So who is IonQ? If you're not familiar, IonQ is a pioneer in quantum computing. Instead of using simple on-off switches like regular computers, quantum computers use something called qubits. These qubits can be on-off or even a mix of both at the same time. This allows them to tackle incredibly complex problems that are practically impossible for even the most powerful traditional computers. Imagine them solving problems related to drug discovery, materials science, or even complex financial modeling, but way faster. The filing mentions their common stock, which is essentially the basic ownership that most shareholders have. It has a very small face value, $0.000 AL in 4 share, which is common for publicly traded companies. They also mention warrants. Warrants are like special coupons that give the holder the right to buy a company's stock at a specific price, in this case 11.50 feast per share, before a certain date. The fact that these are still active and trading, as indicated by them being listed on the New York Stock Exchange under the symbol IonQWS, means there are still people who might choose to buy the stock at that fixed price. After the deal closed, IonQ and a company called Shareholder Representative Services, which looks like they were acting on behalf of the Capella shareholders, signed a registration rights agreement. This is a crucial bit. It basically means that IonQ has agreed to help those Capella shareholders eventually register their shares so they can be freely traded on the stock market. Without this, those 7.4 million shares might be restricted and harder to sell. This agreement is their promise to make it easier for them to eventually sell those IonQ shares. Interestingly, while the deal closed on July 11th, the press release announcing this completion was issued on July 15th. This is pretty standard. Companies often take a few days to get their official communications ready after a significant event like this. Now, let's interpret this entire move. The IonQ by trying Capella Space is clearly aiming to expand its reach and potentially leverage quantum computing for something like satellite data analysis, or perhaps optimizing satellite operations. Space technology is a massive and rapidly growing field. Capella Space provides Earth observation data using its own constellation of satellites. Combining this with quantum computing is made for This move signals a clear strategy for IonQ to diversify beyond just being a pure quantum hardware and software provider. They're looking for real-world applications and strategic acquisitions to build out their ecosystem. It also suggests they believe that quantum computing can provide a significant advantage in processing and analyzing the massive datasets generated by space technology. It's a bold move aiming to bridge two very different but potentially very complementary high-tech sectors. Looking at the financial bits, while there are no detailed financial tables directly in this specific 8K filing about the acquisition's immediate financial impact on IonQ's balance sheet, the fact that they use stock means they didn't have to take on new debt or dilute existing shareholders by issuing even more stock to the public anjay. Instead, they're paying for this growth with their own ownership stakes. This can be a good sign if they truly believe the value of Capella Space will more than make up for the shares they've handed over. The registration rights agreement is also a key piece to watch. It ensures that the former Capella shareholders will eventually be able to sell their IonQ stock. This usually means that IonQ expects the stock price to perform well. Otherwise, these shareholders wouldn't be able to sell their shares at a profit or even at the price they received them. It's a vote of confidence from both sides. Overall, IonQ's acquisition of Capella Space is a really strategic play. It's a company known for its cutting-edge quantum technology, making a significant investment in a company with a strong presence in the booming satellite and Earth observation market. The story here is about IonQ trying to find tangible, immediate applications for its quantum technology by integrating it with a business that generates a lot of complex data. This could be a game changer if they can successfully combine these two advanced technological fields. Now assessing IonQ's direction here, this acquisition shows a clear ambition to grow and to find practical uses for quantum computing. The strength is in this forward-thinking approach and the potential for massive breakthroughs if they can indeed leverage quantum power for satellite data. A key risk, however, is the integration process. Merging two companies, especially in such different industries, is incredibly challenging. There's also the risk that the anticipated benefits of combining quantum computing with satellite data might take longer to materialize or might not be as impactful as hoped. A major opportunity is definitely in the vast amount of data generated by satellites, which is a perfect candidate for quantum computing's analytical power. My conclusion on this filing is that IonQ is not playing small. They're making bold moves to secure their future in a rapidly evolving tech landscape. This acquisition is a significant step towards making quantum computing a practical tool for real-world problems. It will be fascinating to watch how they integrate Capella Space and how this synergy translates into market value and actual technological solutions. It's a high-stakes, high-reward play. What do you think about this quantum leap for IonQ? Does this acquisition make sense to you? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this breakdown helpful, please give this video a like and subscribe for more corporate decoding. And don't forget to join our Discord community. The link is in the description for even more discussions and insights. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.